Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. This is Pamela, and you are watching Pam Entertainment TV, where we review movies, television series, and do celebrity legal news. Also, join me for my pop culture chats. If you'd like to support the channel, please like, comment, and subscribe. My Venmo and Cash App is below. Thank you so much, and let's get started.
Hello. Listen, I did the live the other day, and this was the article that I was trying to find. I obviously didn't save it, but I do want to go over it really quickly with you all. This is the article from the African Report, and it says Diaspora Initiative looks to tap into the 1.7 trillion African American purse. You remember I told you all before that everybody wants to tap into our spending power. And I told you all to mind what you spend and mind what you advocate. Let's get to this article written by Julian Piquet, and this was written in 2023. So, mind you, they have been looking at the money that we spend, and they want to be able to tap into that money. African American buying power could reach 1.7 trillion by 2030, projects the McKinsey Institute for Black Economic Mobility, but only a tiny fraction of it is currently ending up in Africa. With the African Union and the Joe Biden administration both promoting the diaspora as a key potential source of funding for the continent, a coalition of Black business leaders coming together to help turn things around. Who are these business leaders? So there's going to be a lot of people. So you're going to see a lot of folks, and we saw it last year in 2024 when you had all of these celebrities and things like that going to Ghana, and they were getting Ghanaian passports and all kinds of stuff like that. That's why I said you need to be paying attention how people are moving. They understand and know, good, bad, or indifferent, that Black Americans follow what their celebrities and their athletes are doing. So if the celebrities and the athletes are going to Ghana and getting passports, they also know that they're going to be spending money, and they're going to want you to spend money over there. Hence why I think they're making such a big thing to introduce a lot of African wear, we are one, we are African, we are Africa at the Essence Festival, because I'm telling you, the Essence Festival is going to happen over in Nigeria or Ghana or South Africa. It's going to happen over in one of those years. It's going to go over there. And they are hoping that Black Americans, especially you aunties, that your dollars are going to follow them over to the motherland. And they're going to want, because you all spend about $300 to $400 million at the Essence Fest in New Orleans. So imagine what $300 million spent in an African country like Ghana, like Nigeria, like South Africa. I don't know what the exchange rate is, but that would be a huge influx of money coming in. A few dozen investors and U.S. government officials attended the launch at the South African Embassy in Washington, D.C. Now, remember, this article is a couple of years old. This is the opportunity for us to take diaspora wealth and redirect it to include the continent, says Larry Young. The summit offers a twist on the ever-growing number of diaspora initiatives by seeking to engage broader African American community, in addition to more recent immigrants from the continent. So here it is. They knew since 2012. Listen to this. In 2012, the AU adopted the diaspora as the sixth region of Africa. They saw all this money, they saw all this wealth, and they want that money and wealth for you. This is why we're starting to hear, you all don't know your culture, you're lost. You need to go to Africa. Africa is the original, it's the motherland. They don't care nothing about that. They don't care nothing about you. I just need for you all to understand. It is the grift, it is the money. They want to take the money that you have and use it. And like I said, I'm not stopping anybody from spending their money anywhere. That is your prerogative. But you need to know why that money is being spent. You need to know why they're catering in your face and Africa this and Africa that, because all they basically done is sent agents from that continent via the African Union to come over, and at that time to convince Biden that money should be put into the African continent. And here's my issue. I wouldn't have a problem with that if but I'm understanding and knowing it is at the expense of the Black Americans that are here. Monies that are needed to prop up the infrastructure of Black communities and Black Americans who pay taxes is being shunned to go prop up somebody else. Now, mind you, I know this country has done all of this. And again, you know, I have issues about money going to Ukraine and Israel and all these places, and you can't prop up what's going on here in the United States. So let's continue. I lost my glasses, child. The U.S. diaspora is the most natural partner for Africa. Every nation has an action plan for Africa, except for the diaspora. Let's sink that in for a moment as we ask each of you here today to work with us to create an action plan. Well, let me ask you this while y'all are creating action plans and all this other stuff. And here's my question, and my question only. A lot of us are over here, not all, but we do not deny that there was a transatlantic slave trade. And our ancestors were traded for umbrellas, textiles, and firearms. As part of those reparations, going to be an apology. I don't know what you're doing down in the Caribbean. I don't know what kind of initiatives that you all have down in the Caribbean, but I know that the people in the Caribbean are eager to work with you. Because we're not lost. Lost means that we walked out and took a wrong turn. We're not lost. We were sold. My ancestors, they were sold. Most of our ancestors were sold. So if you really are looking at it, it looks like the countries in Western Africa need to pay those that they need to pay reparations to the descendants of the folks that they sold into slavery. But I don't think they ever want to talk about that. Everybody's just want to talk about partnership and smile in your faces and all this other. You don't want to talk about that. And then people want to act like Black Americans. Oh, well, y'all complain so much. Y'all are this. We see what's going on. And see, all of this is supposed to be done up under the thing. And then Biden is sitting up there. Now that I think about it, I'm getting really pissed off. Everybody was talking to him about student loan forgiveness, and everybody was thinking that they were going to get student loan forgiveness. Meanwhile, he's making twist deals with the continent to help divert the spending power of Black Americans towards Africa. And the Pan-Africans are just loving the fact, ooh, we are a sixth region in the African diaspora. But you don't have any power other than the fact that they're going to use your money to prop up what they're doing. Who has the seats at the table? I'll tell you who's sitting at that table right now. It's the African immigrants that have moved to America. Again, Black folks, this is why it's so important for you to understand what is going on in politics. It's so important to understand what your government is doing in your name. $2 to $3 billion just coming back to American neighborhoods, roads, streets, upgrading schools and school supply, all those things. And haven't you noticed that there is this unnatural bedfellows between Christian nationalists going over to Africa, espousing the gospel, and talking about the homosexuality and the problems with the homosexuality, and leaving stuff and books and giving a little money here and there to some of the churches, the Christian churches on the continent? Oh, baby, it's in full effect. It's in full effect. So shout out to Richelieu Dennis. Shout out to Carolyn Wanga. Shout out to the Essence Venture Capitalist Fund and the AU government. Shout out to them. Thinking that for their inability to be stealthy, and we're able to see what's going on. Shout out to them, because sometimes it's necessary for things like that to be shown so that you can see. So we've got attendees including a range of private sector investment experts, as well as U.S. officials, including North Carolina Congresswoman Valerie Fauci. Give me one moment, y'all. Here she is, Representative Valerie Fauci was in on these meetings back in 2023. For South Africa, working with the U.S. diaspora can boost Black-owned businesses in both countries. Ishmael Esau says, South African economic reform agenda is focused on expanding our industrial base. So if you're interested in partnership and businesses, I'm quite sure that this would be interested to people. For business opportunities that you can share within the don't see anything wrong with that. But this initiative about having talks about reparations and saving those reparation talks for the continent, and the continent and then you talk about audacity. You talk about audacity, the audacity for you to be talking about reparations, the audacity for you to talk about tapping into the $1.7 trillion of spending power. But then the representatives that you all send over here can't even open their mouths to speak to you. The African immigrants that come over here, they can't even open up, but they want their hand out for some money. Can you imagine that kind of audacity? But anyway, that was the article. This was the article that I was looking for the other day. And once I found it, I definitely want to get back up here and do a video to show it to you. Let me make sure. And like I said, this was written back in 2023. So we are behind probably a year and a half for progress. But now that you know what's up against, you can make the decisions. Again, mind how you spend your money and mind your advocacy. And those of you all you better be looking into your those people part of the CBC. You must be slow as well. These are the members of the CBC. These are the members of Congress that are representing people in their district. These are the people that the African Union is partnering with to get your dollars. And we haven't heard what the return is going to be. We know that they want to get the money to build up their infrastructure, but we hadn't heard anything about how that translates to anything for us other than us spending money on stuff. All right, people, we do this every week. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Please share this video if you care. Y'all, mind your spending, mind your advocacy. That's all I'm going to say. I would encourage people to go and to look, just type in African Union, I think it's .org. Go through all of the stuff that they're talking about, because honestly, there may be some business opportunities for some people. I know that they're looking for members. Maybe it is time for more Black Americans to have a voice, particularly when you have your elected officials having these conversations. Now, I don't know what the Trump administration is doing in regards to that, or are they going to continue any of those things since he has designated a lot of those countries as shithole countries? I am not sure. However, I am not a hater. I'm not going to tell anybody who can who can do a business move with this to not try to figure all of that out. But I needed you all to know and understand, if they're going to try to grift on you, then you need to figure out how you're going to make a coin. Nothing should be one-sided, but that's my goal. That is my goal for this. So again, please tell a friend, tell a kin, tell a coworker, tell that heifer that you can't stand that I'm over here making these videos. And it's always, people, bye-bye.